You never want to think that you're going to be in that situation, but we've been there.
Yep.
That's what actually started our debt-free journey, was that Joel lost his job.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Our Frugal Debt-Free Journey podcast. We are Joel and Christy from the Long Run Joel and Christy, and today we're going to be talking about having financial peace of mind. Now, in today's world with rising prices, rising rent, those things, it's now more important than ever to have financial peace of mind, have some things in place as you continue to live your life. All right, so we're going to touch on a few things today that we really want to kind of talk about and dive into. The first thing is that we're going to encourage you to have an emergency fund. Now, you can have a small emergency fund, which is like just $1,000 that can cover really at least $1,000 to cover emergencies that come up. Now, emergencies would be like, oh, my car broke down. It's not, hey, the new 80-inch TV came out. Let me go get that. That's not an emergency. That's kind of a want there. But yeah, if you
You've brought that up recently several times. He keeps bringing up an 80-inch television.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know either.
But it's not an emergency.
So, like, if your car breaks down, most statistics say that most people don't have enough savings in their bank accounts to cover like just a simple car repair. And so, if you have at least $1,000 in an emergency fund, then you can be able to cover those expenses without any, hopefully without much stress in your life.
Yeah.
And you can build that to whatever you want to, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know like a lot of people point to Dave Ramsey says $1,000. I think it really depends on like your own situation. How many people are in your family?
Yeah.
Like, what is your living expenses and things like that? You might want a little more than 1,000, but it's not like an emergency fund for like that's going to cover you for an astronomical amount of like a big huge expense, like, but it is just to cover little small things, like he said, like a car repair, or you have a flat tire or something like that, something in that area of a small one. But 1,000 to like 2,000 or something like that is really, it depends on the size of your family and stuff. But
that's right. So we do want to encourage to set up an emergency fund. We're going to talk about emergency funds really a little bit on further down as well as we get deeper into the podcast. But just set up a kind of a baby emergency fund just to cover those little surprises that come up along the way that cost you less than $1,000, and that'll help you with your peace of mind with your finances.
That's right.
The second thing we want to talk about is sinking funds. Now, you hear us talking a lot about sinking funds, and we got a video that we just did on how to set up a budget and set up sinking funds. We're going to drop that in the description below that you can be able to click that after you watch this one. I kind of go into detail on how to set up a budget and how to set up sinking funds and really what they mean and what they do. But sinking funds are for things that you don't buy often. Like, you don't set up a sinking fund for groceries. You set up a sinking fund for like Christmas gifts or home repairs or vacations or things that you do on a less frequent basis. You save up money for those things. So when you get ready to buy those things or go on that vacation or do that home repair or things like that, then you have the money already sitting there in the account, and you don't have to stress about it because the money's already there. Now, here's just a few that we've used from time to time, and we still use most of these for our sinking funds that we use in our budget. First one is holidays and gifts. We set up a sinking fund every year for Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, things like that, so that we can buy gifts throughout the year. We're not so we don't get right before Christmas and say, oh, we got to buy gifts for 4 or 5 different people, and now we have an extra person in our family. We'll have to buy more gifts this year. So we'll have to get that sinking fund set up so that when we get to before we get to the holidays, we're ready to go so we can buy those gifts, right?
And the earlier in the year you can set it up, the better.
That's right.
You'll be you won't be stretched as far. Like if you wait till November to think about how much you want in your Christmas sinking fund, then you've only given yourself 1 month.
That's right.
So if you start right now, it's what? May.
Yeah.
If you start, well, it's actually June when you see this video. That gives you what? 6 months?
Mhm.
5 months. Go ahead, figure out how much you want to spend, divide it by 5, and strive to put that much into the sinking fund every month.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one is auto insurance. That's one thing that a lot of people don't think about is your auto insurance. You pay that usually every 6 months. And so that's a bill, it's a recurring bill that comes around every 6 months. And if you already have a sinking fund where you're putting money into that every month, then you don't have to worry about it if it's like $900 every 6 months, and you don't have to come up with $900 at that time. You already got it building up over time, and then when you get there, you just it's right here, and it takes it right out, and it's gone. And you're ready for another 6 months.
And if you pay monthly, look into it, see if your insurance company gives a discount for doing every 6 months instead of every month.
Yep.
Our insurance company does, because that's less paperwork for them.
Right.
So there is a discount for paying at 6 months. So if your company does that, I would look into trying to set aside a little money every month so that in maybe 6 months you'll have that amount set aside, and then after that you'll always be paying the 6 month instead of the monthly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Car repairs is another one. Our cars, they don't last forever, and they break down and parts break. And we already kind of talked about that a little bit with the little emergency fund. But if you're already saving up for car repairs, you can use your emergency fund for something else.
Or save it.
Or just save it. Yeah. So yeah, car repairs are a good thing to, because that's usually what hits a lot of people is that they're not really ready for all those car repairs.
Yeah.
And then you have a sinking fund set up. You can already go ahead and get
Right.
those things paid out.
And also not just like big emergency kind of car repairs, but also stuff like oil changes. You have, whether you do your oil changes yourself or you pay somebody to do your oil changes, you still have to
Pay something.
You have to pay something.
Yeah.
Either in buying it yourself or paying for it.
That's right.
So you can also use that under the car repair section as maintenance.
That's right.
So
that's right. The next one is car registrations and inspections. We all have to register our cars every year, and so if you're already saving up for that, then you don't have to take that hit when it comes around every year.
Yeah. And if you live in certain states, you may have car inspections. And you may even is it like California that has like the like some kind of special inspection on the air? Or
they have emissions controls over
emission
there
control thing that they have to do every year. So going ahead and setting up a sinking fund means you're prepared to pay for that stuff when it comes around, instead of going, oh no, I have to figure this out in my budget this month. You're already got that aside. You're like, oh, I got that, no problem.
That's right. Next thing is vacations. Most of us like to take a vacation every year, and the best way to do that without going into debt is to start a sinking fund now, or before you take your vacation. Then start saving that money into an account, and then into a sinking fund, and then once you're ready for your vacation, you're ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it makes going on a vacation a lot sweeter when you have enough money set aside to pay for everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that comes to mind when thinking of things we don't really think about, especially if you own a home, just the added cost into owning a home. One of those things is home repairs. Just like cars on homes, things break down and things tear up, and you have to replace things, and you have to get things fixed. And your dishwasher goes out, your refrigerator goes down, and you have to replace those things. And
you had a water leak, or
right. Yeah. And so you want to start saving up money in a sinking fund for those home repairs, so that when those things happen, you don't have to dip into your emergency fund. You've already got a sinking fund there to cover those things. Yeah.
When we had a house, that was our biggest thing that we had to deal with. Other than we had a refrigerator break down, and then like the washer and dryer we may have replaced. The other thing was the sump pump in the basement
Yep.
was an issue. So like having a sinking fund to fix the sump pump would have been like a really good thing. So just having some money set aside so you don't have to constantly be cutting into your emergency fund is a good thing.
Yep. Absolutely. Next thing is back to school items. That's always coming up. If you have kids, back to school is coming up. If you have a sinking fund set for those things, then you don't have to worry about coming up with that money when school time rolls around. You're ready to go with your sinking fund and can dip into that. Another thing is clothes. We all have to have clothes to put on, and so and clothes wear out from time to time.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't have to budget every month for clothes.
Yeah.
You could just have a sinking fund, and then when you feel the need to buy something, then you take it from that sinking fund because you've set it aside and
That's
prepared
right.
for it in advance.
That's right. Hair expenses, I don't really have to worry about that, except for just make sure I have a good razor on hand. I don't have to go. I don't get my hair cut. I cut it myself.
We talk about this a lot. I get a haircut about once every year, and I just go somewhere like Great Clips or something like that. So I don't do a whole lot of setting aside money for stuff like, and I never get my nails manicured and stuff like that. So I don't typically set aside money for things like that. But if that is something that you feel is important to you and is something that you want, is to be able to get manicures and pedicures or to get your hair dyed or whatever, floats your boat, then having a sinking fund so that when those times come around, you don't have to dip into another budget line item or something like that. That's a good idea to do that. Like I know, like if you get your hair dyed, you have to go do that pretty often. And then, manicures and pedicures, probably like, I don't know how often people go to get those done, but like if you set it aside because you don't do it every month, but maybe you do it every other month or something like that. A sinking fund is a great way to have the money set aside for that.
Yep, that's right. Next thing is the hospital and doctor visit expenses. You want to save up money in a sinking fund for those copays, any out-of-pocket expenses you might have going to those things. So you can make sure you're having your doctor visits every year, making sure you're staying healthy. That's right.
Yep.
And then the last thing under sinking funds is that we have here is kids' sports fees and club dues. Like if your kids play sports, they're going to have some kind of fees that go along with that. Club dues, if you're doing like a fitness club or a gym, or maybe you're a member of a golf club, something like that, those dues are going to come up as well.
Also, if your kids do summer camps.
Yeah, summer camps, that's another thing that you can save up for as well into a sinking fund, and that'll help you as those things roll around. You can be able to afford those things a lot better once you have those sinking funds set.
Yeah.
So drop us some comments below and let us know what are those sinking funds that you have, the things you might want to set up a sinking fund for. We'd love to hear those in the comments below. Drop us those comments.
Something that we haven't thought of that. Yeah. There's always a possibility you may give us say something down there in the comments that somebody else may relate to that they're like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 is a fully funded emergency fund, which means 3 to 6 months of your household expenses.
At least
3 to 6 months of your household expenses. So if it happens that you lost your job or something happened that you weren't able to bring in any income, then you have 3 to 6 months or more of funds there to help you through that time until you can find another job or something else comes along. So,
and you never want to think that you're going to be in that situation, but we've been there.
Yep.
That's what actually started our debt-free journey, was that Joel lost his job. And back in those days, we weren't on a debt-free journey and we didn't have a fully funded emergency fund. We had gotten 1 month ahead on our expenses because we use the You Need a Budget software. So we did have that 1 month, and he had a small severance package that we that was like a 3 month. So we made that 4 months worth of income stretch out for 6 months,
Yep.
because it actually was 6 months before he found a full-time job again.
Yep.
I was working, but I only made about enough to cover the mortgage and nothing else.
Yep.
So, so that fully funded emergency fund would have taken so much stress off of our minds.
Yep.
Like we wouldn't have really been all that, because we would have had enough easily to extend the 6 months. So a fully funded emergency fund will take a lot of the stress off of you, and talk about financial peace of mind, knowing that you do have at least enough to last 6 months or 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
Is huge, because you might have another job that fast.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we want to talk about today is retirement and investing. Some things that people don't always think about, but retirement is always on the horizon. For if you don't plan to work, until they put you under, then you might want to think about having some funds available for retirement. Most companies offer 401ks and investing accounts retirement accounts that you can pay into, that sometimes offer matching dollars up to a certain percentage, up to a certain dollar amount. So things you want to look into with your job is looking into retirement and investing.
Yeah. And there's also investment, like advisors.
Yeah.
That you, like, if you're not sure where to go with it, check with them. They can help you figure out the best path for what your goals are for when you want to retire. So it's always good to be on top of that, because you're preparing for the future as well as the present.
That's right. All right. So drop us some comments below and let us know, some things that you're thinking about as far as financial peace of mind, and some tips that you might have that our listeners might want to might be of interest to them as well. Maybe some things we've forgotten, some things that we left out. We'd love to hear those comments in the comments section below. But I think that's going to do it today for the Our Frugal Debt-Free Journey podcast. We're Joel and Chrissy for the long run with Joel and Chrissy. And don't forget, it's a long run. Give yourself a little grace.